Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of Outlander, Hello Goodbye. And this was an okay episode. Mainly, I liked the stuff that was going on with Ian and Rachel, and Jamie and Claire. And we got a little bit of a check-in with Lord John. I liked what we got with Roger and Buck and Roger's father, even though it's not one of my favorites and I kind of want it to be done with, even though it's kind of done with here. And then Brianna's whole bit is just, it's how it's being adapted more than anything. Even when looking into the summaries, I'm like, what the fuck is kind of going on here? But how this is being adapted is even kind of just worse in a kind of respect, because they keep trying to flip-flop the damn thing of faking out what's kind of going on, where it goes with Roger's kind of stuff. It's like, oh, we think it's Jem, and you make it look like and seem that it's kind of Jem through the stones, because Roger's able to figure out that soon there'll be a dam, and they find standing stones there, which is the kind of stones that would be doing the kind of weird kind of shit that's in that kind of tunnel at the dam. And it's just, I'm so over it. I know it mainly puts the catalyst of pretty much being like Brianna's like, there's people doing time traveling shit and trying to come after people who can do that kind of shit, so we kind of got to get out of here. But it's just not executed in a way that is exciting or is pleasant to watch. It's just like, holy fucking shit, can we get this done so we can do this stuff with Jamie and Claire and Lord John and all the other kind of stuff. So let's do that. Because I've already pretty much brought up this stuff with, like, we'll do Brianna's kind of stuff, since it kind of links up with Roger, then we'll do Roger's kind of stuff, and then deal with the good kind of stuff towards the end. So, I know that's kind of a weirder kind of way instead of going sequentially through the episode, but I want to kind of get through these asshole kind of bits first. So, Brianna is pretty much trying to figure out where Jem is. She pretty much tries to get Rob to tell her, and she's like, fuck you. And then she pretty much, like, really locks him into the priest hole. And this is important because of what happens after they find Jem. So Mandy's like, I don't know where Jem is, and then she pretty much uses him as like a hot or cold kind of one. And this kind of links up because Roger's shouting for Jem, and Jem kind of gets to the tunnel thing. We hear the overture of Brianna going through the whole kind of tunnel bit, and Jem remembering going through, shouting for his dad and everything, because Roger's caught into the standing stones at that point. That's of course where they link up and find this other little kid that's got his father's helmet and using it for like berries and shit. And it's like, yeah, he's fucking over there. He stole like a sheep and people are getting ready to lynch his fucking ass. It's like, alright. I mean, if you just tried to figure out what the fuck was kind of going on with him, probably wouldn't have gotten to this scenario, but alright. So, we'll put a pin in that. But Jem's able to get out, and he just fucking comes into, like, the road, and Bree almost fucking runs his ass over. It's like, what the fuck? So, they get back to Lollybrook with the police in tow, and we see that Rob, I mean, they go into the priest hole. It's locked up like Brianna left it, but Rob's not in there, so evidently somebody's got, like, her key. He's got, like, people that are on his side and helping his ass out. The police are like very skeptical of her story and stuff, and thinking that she's like a jilted lover or something like that. They're trying to get in contact with Roger, but of course she says that he's in Boston and all that, and they're just pretty much being kind of pricks about it. It's like, alright, you fuckers. So she gets in contact with Fiona and her husband, take the kids, while she pretty much tries to get like a locksmith and shit like that and trying to figure out what's kind of going on. Gives the chest of letters from Jamie and Claire to Fiona, and she's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And it's like, oh, okay, that's where we're kind of left off. Fiona's like, you need some fucking backup and shit. It's like, blah, blah, blah. I got a gun, whatever. It's like, okay, but if you're outnumbered, that'll only help a certain kind of bit, but alright. So that's kind of where that ends. Roger and Buck are able to meet up with his father, pretty much tell him, time traveling and shit. It's It's like, all right, tell me some shit. Yeah, we won the war. He pretty much does not tell him that he's his son, but is able to know his like wife's name and everything. Since everybody's kind of like running to kind of like get his ass, he does get injured. They carry him to the stone, tell him to think of his wife's name. He goes through the stone, and Roger does get a kind of flash of them in the underground, and him with his father. He thought that there would be some kind of change or whatnot, that he might have survived or whatnot. But then he pretty much starts postulating that maybe the stone sends you where you need to go, and for him to kind of get closure with his father. And that's a kind of good kind of aspect of that. I mean, it does feel like just fucking around for the sake of fucking around, but getting closure with his father and understanding that kind of emotional impact and is executed pretty well and is communicated effectively. It's like, okay, as we then see him pretty much narrating pretty much to Buck about like what's going on with the stars. He's like, then where's my fucking kid kind of shit. It's like, yes, the important question, Roger. What the fuck is going on? Let's see here. So that's that stuff. Kind of put a pin and done. I'm like, I really don't care about that. We do get a check-in with Lord John, which is very brief, where he's just pretty much in a hole. The Continental Army kind of comes on his ass, and he pretty much plays off that he was captured by the British on his way to enlist in the Continental Army, and they're like, all right, cool. And then that's pretty much it. All right. The bulk of the episode pretty much deals with Jamie and Claire dealing with young Ian's marriage to Rachel. We do not get a check-in with William Ransom. We see that that's pretty much going to be popping up later. We do see Jamie put on his outfit and pretty much get ready for like war and all that kind of bit. And we'll see how that kind of goes out, because that's pretty much what we had seen for the previews. So if you're hoping for any kind of look in on that front, shoulder. Sorry about that. You're not going to get it with this episode. So we see them pretty much getting everything kind of ready for the wedding. Claire pretty much talking to Rachel about like how you deal with like your man pretty much going to war, and Claire pretty much talking about that you kind of live as normally as possible and use that as your armor and your shield. Rachel's dress for the wedding, even though it's just like your standard kind of Quaker fare, does look nice on her. And we see that Denzel is able to pop in. Of course, relays to Jamie that he helped John escape from capture and being killed. And Jamie's like, God, like, yeah, your shit's really kind of spiraling now that it's kind of been like, yeah, I started whooping his ass and then the Continental Army showed up and fucking took his ass. So, I've got a lot that I gotta kind of have to fucking deal with that. I'm like, yes, Jamie. Yes. I mean, I understand your feelings of my best friend fucked my wife. But you should see that John is so feeling guilty about it, he really wants you to kill him. He's trying to go that response. Fight that response. So that's kind of laid out. We see that Henry, the relative of Lord John's, doing well. During the ceremony, he makes googly eyes at Mercy. And, well, not really a lot of googly eyes, but it's like enough to be like, okay, are you going to do anything with them? I don't think so. But it's kind of funny because they pretty much, it's not done in your typical kind of wedding fashion. We get Ian brought in. I love that there was a conversation before this going on between young Ian and Jamie, him understanding that Rachel is a virgin, and any kind of advice that Jamie was given, all this advice from Dougal, Angus, Rupert, and that all the advice was fucking stupid and wrong, and that the best advice he got was from Claire, and to like, go slow, pay attention, figure out what your partner wants and what your partner needs. I'm adding that what your partner wants and needs kind of bit because it's kind of baked into that advice. But I'm like, yes, that's actually very good advice across any kind of thing. Yes, it's kind of general, but it works out. You just go slow, figure out what works for your partner and yourself, and figure out where it kind of lands. It's like, yeah, that's reasonable advice. It's really kind of weird. I mean, I have some problems and issues with this series, but I'm like, can we just kind of wrap this and like push it to people? Yeah. But it was just funny to have those names brought up. It's like, yeah, all their advice, fucking don't do it. Holy fucking shit. Oh, Lord. But it was kind of cool to have that moment and have them being proud and happy with each other and getting ready for this. And then uh, evidently with this Quaker wedding, you just kind of wait for like the Lord to like move somebody to speak. And it's funny, like Claire's like, what's going on here? It's like, I don't fucking know. And then that's pretty much Jamie pretty much bringing up his relationship with young Ian, how he held him as a baby. And it's like, I could see who he would be when he grew up. And even though he's gone through some really crazy ass shit, he's really proud of him. And I was like, nice. And then we got Denzel going up and pretty much apologizing to his sister for all the violence and everything like that. She's like, no, no, no. I made the decision and choice as well. And her going with Ian as a man of violence, and that kind of whole dust up a little bit. It didn't get really, really bad, but it was kind of nice to see them kind of like start going a little bit forward and working through these kind of complex relationships between themselves. Let's see. And it's kind of cool to see a kind of brother-sister relationship kind of like this. I mean, I'm always a sucker for those kind of things because I like to see what people do with these kind of things. Since I have a sister, and that's an important relationship for me, I like to see how it's portrayed in other ones and how it kind of affects and pushes and pulls. Sometimes you get the whole thing where people just think that you're fighting constantly or whatnot, or that you never have it. It's like you either fight constantly or you never fight, or it's more like best friends. And that's not really how it kind of works. The good kind of exploration of like siblings is that sometimes you can be best friends, sometimes you can be the bitterest of enemies. It kind of depends upon how the relationship kind of works out, because it's a very kind of different kind of thing. It's not like where you choose to be best friends and you're kind of forced into this situation where, depending upon how it works out, one of you's older, and that kind of gives an experience thing that makes a power differential sometimes. Sometimes that power differential disappears because you're not a fucking asshole, and you're like, hey, even though I'm older, that doesn't mean you don't know things. Sometimes you know things that I know, that you know, that I don't know. And kind of going into that. That's a kind of cool thing to explore. And seeing that with Denzel and Rachel, I liked it. Because I like seeing how that exploration goes of her kind of following him and being put out, and him and the guilt that he feels because he was following his conscience to fight in the Revolutionary War on the side of the rebels, and what that kind of meant. And even though he was not really fighting, he was fighting in his own way. And just because you don't want to do violence doesn't mean that violence won't be visited on you, so you have to find ways to fight against that, defend against that. And I think Denzel has done that in a very cool and interesting way of being the kind of doctor and trying to help people as much as possible. And he does take into effect thinking of how that has negatively affected Rachel, of not having a lot of people there. I know this is a little bit different of how it was done in the books, but I thought it was a pretty good one as we see them kind of like get together, and then we see them, of course, have their sexy scene and all that, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty well done. I don't need to see or have everything kind of done there, but it was kind of cool to see the difference between their sex scene and like William Ransom and the prostitute, Jamie and Claire. Any kind of other sex scenes as well. Roger, Lord John and his lovers. Anything like that. They do a good job of showing and executing it as a different kind of flavor, if you will, between these two characters, because they would. And it was really interesting seeing Rachel put her hair down and everything. It's like, oh, okay. And seeing them kind of fight, and her going a little bit harder, and her apologizing, and Ian being like, no, it's all right. And then Jamie kind of being like, I'm in the bed that you two fucked. It's like, if you think about it, anywhere you have sat or been has been where somebody has fucked. Or something has fucked. I know it's a disturbing thought, but the thing is, if you just start to hyperfixate, like, go to the other extreme. It's like, guess what, dude? Somebody has died where you are sitting, standing, doing whatever you're doing right now. Somebody is fucked and shit and pissed and done vomit every fucking weird ass thing. But I did like him kind of talking through with it with Claire. I wish that we had more episodes so that way we could do this a little bit more, but it does feel like, okay, we don't have enough time. We need a kind of point where I thought we'd already done this. I know that it still sticks in his craw, and it's more sticking in his craw because of how he had reacted to what was going on with Lord John. So we'll see what kind of goes up. We're pretty much going to get another big battle. We're getting William Ransom in the next one. Hopefully we finish out Brianna's kind of shit at some point. I know they eventually get... That they eventually, at least within the book, spoilers and everything, where we're going, potentially they get back because of a whole kind of conspiracy thing. I'll have to see if that works out. Also, fuck me, Jenny is not here and not brought up, which is kind of strange because she is kind of more pivotal in the books. Because there's like the time conspiracy that brings Roger and Bree back. Jenny, I don't know what the fuck's going on with her. I don't know if she's back at Lollybrook, what they're doing with her, because in the books she came over. I don't know if they're just going to mystically, magically fucking thunder teleport her over, or what. But that's a big kind of change. And I don't know what that's going to kind of ramifications for the story and the characters. Because Jamie talked about that because of Ian and his mom and pa and everything like that. So we'll see. I just want the Roger and Bree stuff to be done and to link back up with Jamie and Claire, because it's just, I feel like it's adding nothing at this point. And I know it is adding things. Like, I don't know where it's going, but it would be interesting if this time travel organization or shadowy cabal or whatever the fuck you're going to call it, if it becomes more important, as essentially something that like Roger and Bree's kids kind of start, but that it's warped and changed and mutated into something fucking bad at that point, and or it's like another kind of organization, then Roger and Bree's kind of organization comes and fights them. Almost similar to a Marvel kind of thing of like S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra kind of shit. Either that they made an organization to protect time travelers and protect the thing, but it switches from S.H.I.E.L.D. to Hydra, kind of similar to the MCU, or you've got the two competing organizations already. But I don't really care that much because I care more about Jamie and Claire's story, so I would rather that just get fucking punted to the side and just be like used as a catalyst to just pretty much get Roger and Bree back. So we'll see how that kind of shakes out. I just want it done because I think it's taking valuable story time from Claire, Jamie, William Ransom, and John at this point. And I think that those should mainly be the focus. Oh, and Youngie and Rachel and all that stuff as well. Not that Roger and Bree suck, but how it's being executed and how it's being shown and done, just I'd rather you just fucking cut it and they just fucking showed up at the Ridge or whatnot and be like, hey, and then just did a small little flashback or something. It's like, yeah, we had some shenanigans and this is what entailed. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.